Shalom, real quick, giving all praise to you, how Bashem El Shai, Bashem El Kakodah, Shalom to the 144,000, rest of the elected there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, Almah does not mean virgin. Now, you got here, this is Isaiah, well, let me add to that title. Almah does not mean virgin. Isaiah 7 verse 14. I'll play with it. Isaiah 7:14. The word Almah does not mean virgin. That's the title. Isaiah 7:14. The word Almah does not mean virgin. And when I say virgin, I'm talking about the virgin, a woman that's never been touched. The word that should be there, if in Isaiah 7:14, the word that should be there, if she was actually a virgin, never been touched by a man, the word that should be there is bathwala. Like I said, the Apostle Paul says, study to show thyself approved, a workman needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Part of dividing the word of truth means sometimes you got to go into the Hebrew and the Greek. So anyway, in the case of Dan, you got to go into the Sirach or the Aramaic. Okay, so now it says virgin, right? We should know the scripture. We should know this by heart. Let me bring this up. Therefore Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, the word there is virgin. The Hebrew word is almah or ayalama, which means young in the feminine sense. Shall conceive. All right, shall conceive. That means there was the act of sex. A man put his rod in a woman's incubator, I'll say, because a woman is a natural incubator. That's all they are. They're incubators. That's their purpose. You know, you love them too, but that's what they are. That's the Most High designed them to be incubators, to hold the sperm, build the earth, and bear his son, which is the Messiah, and shall call his name Emmanuel. They didn't call his name Emmanuel. Like I said, it said, behold, a virgin shall conceive. A virgin, the only way a virgin can conceive is if a man lays with that woman. These crazy ass Christians, well, these apologists, these Protestants, these Calvinists, remember they're Reformed Catholic, so they're basically Catholics, but they change certain things. Apocrypha. Well, we don't agree with the Apocrypha. Roman Catholics do agree with the Apocrypha. They say it's part of the books. Original King James Apocrypha. Anyway, so if you go to Isaiah 7:14 and you're not going into the word virgin, you're going to get stuck. That's why they say, see, it was a virgin birth. No. Joseph put his rod in Mary, and she conceived. The word there, virgin, should be young woman. Whether she had sex, if she had a child before the Lord, which that's not going to happen. You know, he'll be the first, oldest, whatever. She's still called a virgin, a young woman. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not going to make this long, but I'm going to you know what? The word that should be here in the Hebrew is bathwala, not almah. So anyway, let's listen. This is why I say it's a waste of time talking with these Christians, because they don't understand the scriptures. As a matter of fact, Captain called him an asshole, which he is. They're trying to Christianity. If you can't get it, they shove it. They attempt to shove it down your throat. Okay, so let's go.
That's what I believe. I know you believe.
He just said he believed. You can believe in Santa Claus. Does that mean Santa Claus exists? almah means she experiences puberty. Am I saying that right? Puberty.
Virgin by
Post-pubescent.
not having sex. That's what I believe. I know you believe virgin in a different way.
He said, that's what I believe. Well, we're not talking about what you believe. It's what you can prove. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove.
Show me on.
Hold up. Let me do this. Let's go back.
Not having sex.
No. Can you repeat? You said that you want me to show you where it's not talking about a woman that's had sex?
Show me where it is talking about a woman that has had sex. I contend that Hebrews 7, almah, is about a virgin. Every time it's used in the Hebrew Bible, that is the word that transfers over to Parthenos in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 1.
It does not translate to the Greek word Parthenos. I said in the previous video I did last night, the word is nianis. The Greek equivalent to the Hebrew word almah is nianis, or almah is nianis. And nianis is feminine for boy in a feminine sense. Hebrew. Arab speaking, what do they speak? Arabic. And I asked Arab people, how do you say man in Arabic? They say Aish. I said, how do you say woman in Arabic? They would say Aisha. In the Hebrew, the word is what is it? Damn. Well, you have not Ash, but Ashna, but you have what is it? Yaasha. Yaasha is woman. It's Yaasha is the feminine way of saying man. Ayash is man in Hebrew. Arabic is Aish. The word for woman is Ayasha. The Arabic word is Aisha. Sounds the same. So when he said that, I said, oh wow, that's Hebrew. That's Hebrew. So you got to learn that Hebrew, man. When you listen to Nate talking about you don't got to go into the Hebrew and the Greek and make the Hebrew language and the Greek language a doctrine. No, it's not a doctrine. It's part of the doctrine. So he doesn't understand. But they raise their voice. Just because you raise your voice doesn't make it so. Let's go.
You're one.
Now this is what I wanted. Now this is what I wanted to cover. Let's go to Isaiah 7. I'm sorry. Let me bring this back. I just want
I
to say this
contend that
again.
Hebrews 7. Show me on.
Not having sex. No. Can you repeat? You said that you want me to show you where it's not talking about a woman that's had sex?
Show me where it is talking about.
Am I saying that right? Puberty.
Virgin by
post-pubescent.
not having sex. That's what I believe. I know you believe virgin in a different way. Show me on in terms of not having sex.
No. Can you repeat? You said that you want me to show you where it's not talking about.
At one time, this guy believed in Santa Claus. Does he still believe in Santa Claus? You can believe something, but can you prove it?
About a woman that's had sex?
Show me where it is talking about a woman that has had sex. I contend that Hebrews 7, almah, is about a virgin. Every time it's used in the Hebrew Bible, that is the word that transfers over to Parthenos in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 1.
Now this is what I wanted. Okay, you know what? Let me. Okay, I stopped it. Anyway, let's deal with this. Let's go. Let's do something that Nate never does. Bishop Nate never does. That's why he goes off, man. He went off a couple of times last night. We caught him a couple of times. Okay, where am I? Okay. Let's see where we're gonna go with this. Let's read this again. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore Yahweh. How do we know it's Yahweh? Because when you click on it, matter of fact, let me do that. I'm sorry. It's right here. Therefore. Okay, I'm sorry. It's Adawan, which means superior. The word means superior. The word that should be there is It's Adonai, as the small hats would say, or Adanaya, or Adawanya, which means my superior. The word should be Yahweh. The word there should be Yahweh, not your landlord. So if you read it like this, therefore the landlord of the building himself shall give you, who shall give you a sign? Yahweh shall give you a sign. Therefore Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin. The word there is almah, almah, which means young woman, whether she had sex or didn't have sex, whether she has she's pregnant with a child, has a toddler, you know, she's still, you can still use that term virgin. So conceive. What's the only way a woman can conceive? Having sex. And bear a son, and that son is the Messiah, and she'll call his name Emmanuel. Good thing for a question to ask Christians. It says that when was that fulfilled? No, they're fulfilled in Matthew 1 and birth and Gabriel. Okay, so where in the New Testament was he ever called Emmanuel? It's not written in nobody ever called him Emmanuel. The angel gave Joseph and Mary the name. His name is Yahweh Shai. They couldn't even come up with their own name. So why? So wait a minute. Did the Lord say, okay, go down and tell him that his name gonna be Emmanuel? But or his name is gonna be Emmanuel. Tell him that's gonna be his name. The angel Gabriel says, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna call him Yahweh Shai, Jesus. These Christians do not understand these scriptures, man. Like I've been saying, I'm gonna continue to say it. You want to chase a Christian down the street, going to the prophetic books of the Bible. They're lost. Even you scholars. Okay, I'm sorry, stretching this out. So, cause they're gonna run up on you on this. So the word that should be here is the right word, a young woman of marriageable age. I'm going to prove that. Parthenos should not be in Matthew chapter 1. The word that should be there, I gave you the word last night. Okay, conceive. Okay, virgin. Let's go to the word virgin. Almah, as they would say it, almah or alama. Now check this out. Virgin 4 times, maid 2 times, damsel 1 time. This is the definition. Okay, this is a feminine noun. If you click on this is a masculine. Let's do it. Masculine noun. Alum. Young man. What? How do you say woman? Young man in the feminine sense, you would say alama. The ha suffix. If you don't know what a suffix is, it's the this would be a suffix. This is alam, man, boy. That's a suffix at the end of a word. Go, you got the word go, you got the word going. The ing is the suffix. Re-enter. Enter, re-enter, re is the, what is it, the prefix, suffix? Remember English, that was from elementary school. Okay? So this is what it says, all right? 4 times virgin, 2 times maid, 1 time damsel. Virgin, young woman. of marriageable age, past the flower of her age. 1 Corinthians 7. That means she's ready to have sex. Mary was past the flower of her age, meaning puberty. Her body experienced puberty. Maid or newly married. Let me say newly married. Newly married. Let me look up the word married. Newly married. Let me look up the word newly married. Let me look up the word newly married. Let me look up the word newly married. Let me do it this way. What constitutes a marriage? Okay, let's see what it says. A marriage constitutes a legal and or social union between two individuals. The institution of marriage comes from the scriptures, right? From the ancient world. Recognized by law and or community, requiring mutual consent. That's now. Back then, if you wanted a wife, you made a deal with the father and you purchased the daughter. Capacity to marry and adherence to specific formalities like license or vow, creating rights, responsibilities, and they share the life. That's why she gets half. Marriage is a business transaction. Two mergers, two companies merging. That's why you do all this work. She gets half of your shit because you're stupid. You were stupid enough to get married, dumbass. Often for procreation, have children, or mutual support, varying in form. Monogamy, common law. Monogamy, meaning, one man to one woman, right? Across cultural jurisdictions. Let me do this. When is a marriage complete? What does it mean by marriage being consummated? Consummating a marriage means the couple has had their first act of sexual intercourse after the wedding. Now, there's many women out there that are pregnant that had sex before they got married. It could be boyfriend, girlfriend. It could be engaged. The wedding comes up. She got a baby bump. What happened? They consummated the marriage before they got married, which they wasn't supposed to do. But it happens. That's what the hell happened with Joseph and Mary. Now Mary had to be a gorgeous, a super attractive. The girl was fine, and he couldn't hold on. There's a song, "Love Won't Let Me Wait." I think that's about adultery. So Christians can't get this. So anyway, a marriage is a marriage. The paperwork we sign. What makes a marriage official is the man and the woman laying down together. That's what Isaac and Rebekah did. They got married in a tent. The Rick James were playing in the background. When I lay my eyes on you. Pain before pleasure. And he say, anyway. So, hey, let me do this. Okay, it says common law, right? It says common law. Back when I was a kid, you had common law marriages. What constitutes a common law marriage? A common law marriage is a legally recognized union without a formal ceremony or license, established when an unmarried couple lives together. Now it used to say 7 years, and that was recognized in New York. It's no longer recognized in New York. Live together, mutually agrees to be married, and publicly presents themselves as spouse. Yeah, you be with a chick for 3-4 years, that's my wife, right? Where your paperwork? My paperwork, I don't need no paperwork. I've been with her for 4 years. Actually, it's in law, it's 7 years. 7 years. In New York State, common law wife, common law husband. Example given, using the same last name, filing joint taxes. And you know, a woman could just change her name without being married. She can just change her name to the man that she's with. She can just change it up. Only a few states currently allow new common law marriages. Not in New York, because New York is not under the common law no more. Prior to 1938, you had the New York Constitution. Now you have the Constitution of the state of New York. 2 different constitutions. We used to go into law, you know. We used to go into law, so we knew how common law works. Though all states generally recognize valid common law unions formed in states where they are permitted. This is no longer New York, because New York is not under the common law. Okay, so we're learning a lot today based upon this subject. So now let's do this. Let's do this. These Christians don't know. That's why you drown them. You spiritually drown them. Take these Christians in the deep water. Stop playing with these Christians. That's a topic. That's a topic. Stop playing with these Christians. Crush them. You see a roach? You don't play with a roach. You stomp the roach. You know, if the roach is climbing up the wall, you fucking stomp. You smack. You palm the roach, and then you wash your hands. You get that roach, because they looking to hide. So Christians are basically roaches. Christians are basically roaches, spiritual roaches that you got to stomp. You got to put the raid on their asses, man. Anyway, I'm bugging. Hey, so anyway, it said newly married, right? What makes a marriage official? Sex. Go to the account of Isaac and Rebecca. First time they laid eyes on each other, you know, the Rick James song was playing in the background. The tent was over there. He pulled the woman in the tent. He popped her, and then they became husband and wife. Don't listen to that bonehead Nate. Oh, you need marriage papers. You don't need no marriage papers. Even like I said, even certain states in the United States honor common law marriages. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, let me read some of this. Newly married, right? Additional information from the outline of biblical uses. There is no instance where it can be proved that almah designates a young woman who is not a virgin. The fact of virginity is obvious in Genesis 24:43, where almah used of the one who was being sought as a bride for right. But that word, let me go to the word. Let's see what the word is. The word should be, let's click on that. Let's click on that. See, Nate, you should be doing this. Okay, behold, I stand in the well water as a virgin. Okay, let me open this up. Let me go a couple of verses above this. So right here in the 43rd verse. Okay, I'm gonna go to the headline. What does it say here? Okay, Rebecca is chosen, and it came to pass before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out and was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. I'm not going to read this whole thing. It says, and the damsel was very fair, beautiful, fine, gorgeous. Rebecca was fine. She was fine, man. And the damsel was very, very fair to look upon, a virgin. Right, she was a virgin at that time. But let me look up the word virgin. Let's look up the word virgin. It'll either be almah or Bethwala. Okay, the word there is Bathwala. Let's look up the word Bathwala. You got virgin in Genesis 24, and you got virgin in Isaiah 7:4. Guess what? Two different words. Shouldn't it say almah? Then we go through that. So the word there is Bathwala. Let's look up the word Bathwala. They say virgin. You guys got to explain it, man. Let's deal with this. If Mary, pursuant to Isaiah 7:14, the word there, virgin, if she was an actual virgin that never been touched, the word Bethwala would be there. Bethwala or Bethola, feminine passive participle of an unused root, meaning to separate a virgin from her privacy, sometimes by constitution. A bride, also figuratively a city or state made virgin. Look at that. Okay, right here, the word, this is going back to it, 24 and, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings straight. The word, okay, when it describes Rebecca, she was not touched. All right, she was not touched. So now let's come on back. A virgin, I'm sorry, come back again. Okay, this is what I want. Almah. Right? Let's come on down here. The voice of a woman, either literal or soprano or falsetto or boy. I want all that. Okay, it says made or newly married. What constitutes married? It's got to be consummated by sex. It's a general term for a young woman, whether she had sex or didn't have sex. Let's come on down here. So we read that. Okay, right here is Exodus 2 verse 8. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. Let me open that up. What's the word there? Ayalama, which means a young woman of marriageable age, whether she had sex or not. Isaiah 7 verse 14, if the woman in Isaiah 7 verse 14 was an actual virgin, Mary, it would have said Bathwala. This is why we do not debate with Christians, because Christians are out of their fucking minds. They don't understand the scriptures, especially the prophecies. Okay, let me do this. Let me read this. Psalm 68 verse 25. The singers went before, and the players on instruments followed after. Among them were the damsels, young women, playing with timbrels. Right? So the damsels, plural. Some of them could have been virgins that never had sex with a man. Some of them recently had sex with a man. Some of them could be pregnant. Some of them can have a child or two. So the word damsel goes back to the word virgin, which goes back to the Hebrew word almah or almah, which just means a young woman, whether she never had sex or recently had sex, or could be pregnant with her first child, or maybe have two children. She's a young woman. When she reaches, and that's normally around, in the ancient world, it's normally around you're having to talk with the father. The two fathers are having a talk. They're talking when the daughter's like 11 and a half, 12, and the son might be 13. And you're talking about, my son and your daughter should get together. You know? They make an agreement. Then you have the bride price, right? An older man wants a beautiful woman. He goes to the father, I want your daughter. How much? They showed you that in the movie. Hold up. They showed you that in the movie Godfather 2. Because them people in Sicily, they were Jakes. So Michael Corleone had to ask the father for the daughter's hand, and he had to agree. She wasn't around with this discussion. It says the singers went before, the players on instrument follow after. Among them were the damsels. Damsels, like I said, is a general term for women, young women, playing with timbrels. Okay, right here. Proverbs 30, verse 19. The way of an eagle. Let me open this up so you can get into the context. This is like me doing a Hebrew video. Ain't nobody gonna watch this. They don't want to think Jake don't want to think too deep. Excuse me. 18 verse, Proverbs 30 verse 18. There be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, four which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, and you look at eagles, the way they soar, right? Wow, you look at that's an eagle. The way of a serpent upon a rock. The way of a ship in the midst of the sea, because the buoyancy keeps it afloat, inside joke. And the way of a man with a maid. Now, what does that mean? The way of a man with his maid is your woman. When you're young, you hug, in public and stuff like that. You hold hands, and sometimes you kiss her, she kisses you, or whatever. Or some other girl's looking at you because she likes you, and your woman notices that, and I experienced that, and your woman clutches you, cleaves unto you, like showing body language, this is my man, right? So what does it mean by maid here? Could have been a new woman that he's getting to know, they kiss or whatever. Or the way of a man and his maid, with a maid, is they can be walking somewhere and she's pregnant and have a 2-year-old. Maid just means young woman, whether she had sex or not. Christians don't understand that, because the Spirit, they don't have the Holy Spirit. They don't have the comforter. Okay. Now, okay, let's read this one. This is the main one. Song of Solomon 6 verse 8, but Song of Solomon 1 verse 3. Because of the savor of thy good ointment, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. So let's get the understanding of that. The virgins are talking about the elect of Israel, 144,000 likened unto virgins. The virgins loving thee, meaning the virgins, 144,000, and the elect love the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You got these idiots reading Revelation 14 saying, well, see, you ain't one of the elect because you ain't a virgin. Shut up, man. Anyway, so I didn't want to make this long, and not too many people are going to watch this. Now, if I made a video about 20 women come up to the apostles, all fine women, and they say they're ready to, fulfill Isaiah 7:1, and you got like what do you call AI? You got the apostles sitting there and the bishops, and you got these beautiful women bowed down to them. Y'all gonna watch that video, right? But this right here, you ain't gonna watch. Anyway, it says, there are 80 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. What is this talking about? What is it talking about? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open it up. It's obvious it's talking about Solomon, right? Mutual delight in each other. Okay, my undefiled is but one. She is the only one of her mother. She is the choice one of her that bear her. The daughters saw her and bless her. Yea, the queens and the concubines, and they praise her. Now, this when they talking about women and this and that, it's spiritual. It's spiritual. This book, the wisdom is a feminine spirit, feminine vibration from the Most High, right? Okay, so let's deal with this. Okay, this is what I wanted. There are 80 queens and 80 concubines. Queens are generally Israelite women that you marry. Solomon married queens, princesses. 80, 60 queens, princesses. 80 concubines, women of another nation. And virgins without number. Virgins without number means young woman without number. Now, in this case, the word there should be batwala for virgins, because Solomon ain't going to lay down with no woman but a virgin. So you got to understand, the Spirit's got to guide you when you go into these scriptures, man. And this guy right here, this clown-ass Christian, let me go back to it. He doesn't understand. If, like I said, man, I've been saying, I'll continue to say it. All you got to do is stop fucking respecting these Christians, and then lead them into, like a lawyer. A lawyer has he's cross-examining the man on the stand, and he's leading them. He wants the answers from him, but he's leading them. You look that up. What does it mean, leading in law? I should look it up. I'm not going to look it up. But you got to lead him to Revelation 11. Lead him to Ezekiel 37. Lead him to Isaiah 14 and 1 or 2. What does that mean? When did it happen? You guys want to fuck agreeing with them, man. Fuck playing by the rules. You know? And this guy, he opens up his mouth and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's why he said, I believe. Yo, okay, you believe. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Anyway, I hope y'all learn from this, and I hope y'all watch this video, because somebody's going, this subject is going to come up. And we haven't even gone into the New Testament, the book of Matthew, where it says the virgin. The word virgin in the book of Matthew 1 is parthenos, which means a woman that never been touched. The word virgin in Isaiah 7:14, the word is almah or almah, which means young woman. When you look it up, it means marriageable age, whether she had sex or not. Okay? So these guys are going to go, and then they're going to say, if you watch this whole thing, he says, he goes into the genealogy, and they go into the explaining this shit, you know, that explaining shit. And she wouldn't be, and the Lord wouldn't be right, because she couldn't be, she had to be a virgin, and the Spirit and the Holy Spirit came down on her. The jig is up for you fucking, what is it, gig is up. And for you Christians, you ain't got it, man. And like I said, you're going to deal with it, you're going to debate with a Christian, crush them, stomp on them like a fucking roach. Stomp on them like the pinche bug that they are. Anyway, with that, shalom. Forgive me for going long.